Welcome to the Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins. Let's wrap up a couple of the smaller stories from the last couple of days. It's franchise identity crisis time, apparently. First, Assassin's Creed wonders if it should be a yearly release anymore, and now Battlefield is rumored to be contemplating a move back to the past. According to a translated listing on German retailer World of Games, the next game in the Battlefield series, Battlefield 5, will be set in World War I. The listing was quickly removed once it was discovered by a few gaming sites. While you never know whether or not to put much stock in website listings like this, a leap to the early 20th century wouldn't be completely out of the norm for the series. After all, the shooter got its start in World War II with Battlefield 1942, which was the best game ever. And oddly enough, World War I is fairly unexplored territory in video games unless you're catching that really weird Polish alt history horror shooter Necrovision, which, well, you're probably not. It would certainly be interesting to see DICE's take on trench warfare, the Battle of Verdun, a couple of other battles we found on Wikipedia. If Battlefield is having that big of a mid-franchise crisis, it could just get some hair plugs next time around. Maybe a Porsche. More rumors from the weekend points to a Sony patent for a glove controller to be used in conjunction with PlayStation VR. The 3 patents associated with the glove controller were filed back in 2014, but published just last week. According to the diagrams filed with the patent, the gloves could work with the VR headset by responding to different finger positions, tracking motion, and giving haptic feedback, all of which would make those BioWare romance questlines extra immersive in VR. A wink. Well, nothing sounds cooler than sharing VR gloves with your sweaty palmed brother, or maybe accessing the Oasis. The patent doesn't necessarily mean that a new Power Glove is coming from Sony, but given how sweet that original 80s ad was, maybe Sony just needs to make this thing happen. The Wizard needs a reboot. We're rebooting everything else. Why not that? Speaking of resurrecting stuff from the 80s, both Predator and Aliens franchises have been given confirmed release dates for their next sequels. The Predator will be releasing in March of 2018, hopefully a little bit easier to view than the poster's really hard to read typography. That movie, written by Iron Man 3 scribe Shane Black and directed by Monster Squad's Fred Dekker, is said to totally reinvent the franchise. Unlike the last time they tried to do that, I guess. Meanwhile, the new Alien film, titled Alien Covenant, will be launching in August 2017. The Covenant is a semi-sequel to Prometheus, which is itself a semi-prequel to Alien, so who even knows where this one fits in the timeline? Midquel? Interquel? Nyquel? I can never keep track of the terms. The story has a colony ship finding a remote planet inhabited solely by David, the android played by Michael Fassbender from Prometheus. That's not a joke. I had to double check. Our hopes of finding more planets filled with beautiful Michael Fassbender creatures are looking more promising as scientists make new discoveries about the conditions for life in the universe. According to a study by physicists out of Spain, the rate of the universe's expansion may play a critical role in where we find life. The scientists made this finding while studying the effect of gamma ray bursts, the really huge cosmic kind, not the kind that made the Hulk, on different planets. The results indicate that these bursts are devastating to life, potentially eradicating ozones and rendering planets uninhabitable. But thanks to the rate at which the universe expands, systems are far away enough from their neighbors to keep them from affecting each other with radiation, which is nice. When the team ran simulations for the universe expanding at different speeds to see which one best supports life, all the simulations showed that our universe's rate of expansion nails the perfect balance. Good job, universe. We're so proud of you. Microsoft certainly isn't hoping for any accidents when the HoloLens is finally in the hands of consumers, and now we're one step closer with the announcement that development kits for Microsoft's holographic headset are available for pre-order. The development kit will set would-be holographers back $3,000. That's a lot of money, and will ship on March 30th. That may seem like a hefty price tag. It is, but keep in mind that HoloLens is fully untethered and doesn't require the use of any external PC or sensors, since all of that is self-contained within the headset. It also comes with the video game Young Conquer, so that's like $5 out of the $3,000 value you're getting right there. In Young Conquer, you control the foul-mouthed squirrel as he uses the surfaces of your living room as a platformer. Now that the dev kits are going to be in the hands of more creators, it's only a matter of time before we start seeing some really amazing apps for the system, like 50-foot women that will stomp on you. But really, I just want it for Minecraft. Speaking of Minecraft, we're being given our first glimpse of details from the upcoming Minecraft movie, which you'd be forgiven if you don't remember, since we haven't heard a peep about it for a while, until now. Producer Roy Lee gave an interview recently in which he shared a little more about the project, saying they're currently in the scripting phases. For anybody worried about the movie differing too much from the game, Mojang say they have been very involved in its development to date. As for what the story entails, Lee said that the Minecraft world is part of a multiverse that humans can travel to, which will feel like a live-action version of the game. I can barely interpret that. Whether it means it'll be literally people transporting into the video game remains to be seen. The movie is being penned and directed by It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia's Rob McElhenney and targeting the same audience as Jurassic World. So, everybody? Chris Pratt fans? Gonna be honest, I'm skeptical as to how Minecraft can make a good live-action movie, but maybe I just lack vision. If anyone can tackle it, McElhenney can. Ubisoft is certainly trying to court the similarly ambitious target demographic of everybody with the soon-to-be-released Division, and now they're doubling down on a question that many gamers have been wondering about. Will the game have microtransactions? According to Ubisoft, the answer is no. Division won't have microtransactions or any pay-to-win components at all, per Ubisoft community manager Nachai Stappers on Twitter. Of course, we've seen developers say this plenty of times before, since they know microtransactions and pay-to-win are really bad words that players don't like to hear before release, but then they change their minds. Looking at you, Payday, Destiny, H1Z1. So let's hope they don't pull a switcheroo on that one. But would Ubisoft players be as upset about microtransactions as God of Egypt director Alex Proyas is about the reviews of his new movie? Oh, that'd be difficult. After a major bomb at the box office this weekend, the director unleashed a wrath-filled rant on Facebook, which has never backfired on anybody. In the rant, Proyas takes aim at critics, calling them deranged idiots and diseased vultures pecking at the bones of a dying carcass. Wow. Strong words. The movie, which cost upwards of $140 million to make, brought in just around $38 million worldwide in its opening weekend, which mathematicians would call no bueno. Game of Thrones' Jaime Lannister, Schmorgan Heckengard, or Nikolai Coster-Waldau, if you don't get jokes, stars in the film as well. Between this, Kit Harington in Pompeii and Peter Dinklage in Pixels, those Game of Thrones actors might have better luck playing the actual Game of Thrones at this point. I think Robb Stark is winning. He was in Cinderella, right? It seems that robots lost the game of drones at Mercedes recently, as the car manufacturer has had to swap a number of its assembly line robots with real people. It may seem like a backwards move to replace robots with meat sacks, but apparently industrial robots were unable to adapt to the complexity of many of the custom options for cars. Heated or cooled cup holders, decals, wheels, soda dispensers, whatever they're putting in cars these days. This is a pretty big shift in the car manufacturing model by Mercedes, seeing as how auto manufacturers are the leading users of industrial robots. Now, in order to keep better pace with the rapid changes to their vehicles, Mercedes is switching to a hybrid model of humans working alongside robots in the assembly line. Sucker robots, taking back Earth, or keeping it or something. In other news about how much robots suck, we have police reports of the very first self-driving Google car accident in which the self-driving vehicle is at fault. There have been other vendors, but none that have actually been the fault of the Google vehicle. The accident, which happened on Valentine's Day in California, was just filed over the weekend and involved one of Google's cars in an autonomous mode striking a public transit bus. Now, before you freak out that all the robot cars on the road are going to start driving people into their automated doom, it actually sounds like the accident was a pretty typical situation that a human driver would find themselves in every single day. The Google car was reportedly avoiding some sandbags in the middle of the street, which, why were sandbags in the middle of the street, and struck the side of a bus at 2 miles an hour. Google has apparently thrown the bus driver under the bus, saying that both the car and the test driver thought the bus would yield, which just shows you how little experience Google has with bus drivers. So that about does it for today's roundup. What do you think of these stories? Hit us up in the comments and let the robots know we're not going to take any of their overlord shit. We'll have another roundup on Thursday, but for all the up-to-date news about things tech, gaming, and geek, remember to like this video and subscribe to the know. For more... Back up, sorry. May seem like a backwards move to replace robots with meat sacks. The development kit will set would-be holographers. The development kit would set... Fucking robots, man. Tell you what, the Google cars around here drive great.